Hi there, welcome to my channel. I'm Rhonda and I just bought this Lion Brand Feels Like Heaven yarn at Michael's. I'm in Canada. This is new to Michael's. I've never seen this yarn before. I'm not sure if it's been available before somewhere in the United States at a different store, but it is listed as new at Michael's and I thought I would give it a try. I'm going to take the camera overhead, show you a closer look at this yarn, and work some up for you and give you my opinion. So let's do that now. Okay, so here is Lion Brand Feels Like Heaven. This is 100% nylon. I have never used a 100% nylon yarn before. This is the second 100% nylon new yarn that I am trying from Lion Brand. I tried Feels Like Bliss before. I did another video, so if you haven't seen that yet, I will link you to it and please check it out. So this yarn is considered a light 3-weight and it has 246 yards or 225 meters. It is a 100-gram skein, 3.5 ounces. And the recommended hook size is 5 millimeter. This is machine wash, lay flat to dry, and it is made in Turkey. This is actually an 8-ply yarn. If you look at it closely, I can untwist it and you can see 8 separate fibers. I checked, I counted, and I counted 8 of them. And this colorway is Sunny, I believe. Sunny, really pretty shade of yellow. So what I'm going to do first, because I want to try this yarn for you to see how it works up, I'm going to see how it is with the center pull. I think I saw the outer strand right here, but I prefer to do the inside if I can. So I'm going to reach inside and see what comes out. Oh, that was easy enough. I like that because it makes it a whole lot easier. There's a bit of tangle here. So hopefully it's not an easy to tangle yarn, but that worked out nicely. Now I'm going to chain up 15, and because this is a more simple yarn, I might try a bit of a fancier stitch just to see how the stitch definition is. So I'll work it up. I'll first show you just a simple stitch, and then I will work up something fancy and come back to you and show you that as well. So I'll just right now chain up 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So far, not bad. I am seeing that it's a loose twist of yarn, so hopefully it won't be too splitty. And I will start off with a half double. And I'll do 1 row of half double. It's not a slippery yarn, but it goes through my hook fairly nicely. No problem with that. I'm not usually bothered by splitty yarn. So far, I'm not having any trouble with it, but with splitty yarn, it tends to slow you down just a little bit. But so far, I'm not bothered by it. And usually I'm pretty good with that. Some people are really fussy about that. They don't like splitty yarn at all. But I have used other yarns that are splitty and it really didn't bother me too much. So far with this, I don't find it a problem. So I'll do a couple rows of half double crochet just to see how it looks. So here is my first row, and it seems like it has pretty nice stitch definition. I like it. I'll chain up 2 and go in and continue to do those half double crochets for another row. And it's not pulling out easily from the center. It's not like a really slippery yarn. And I sort of feel that when I'm working with it, but that being said, it's not sticking, it's not giving me a problem with the splitting, and I'm finding it easy to work with. So if it's not too splitty, it might even be okay for beginners. Because of that stitch definition, you can definitely see where your stitches are. No problem there. So that looks pretty nice. I'm going to try one more row of half double, and then I will try double and single just to see how they look. So there's half double, and now I'll try some double. Okay, so I've done some half double, I've done some double. I'm going to do some single, and I'll show you that. Okay, so here are some of the simple stitches, half double, double, and single, and I do like the stitch definition. As for the texture of the yarn, and remember, this is just my personal opinion, and washing it could make a difference. I find it has a sort of like a synthetic-y feel to it. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't hate it. It's not the softest, like when I think of putting it on a baby, it's okay, but I felt a lot softer. So I'm okay with it. I would probably tend to try and wash it first to see how that works, but I think it's okay, and I like the color, I like the definition. Now what I'm going to try to do now is I'm going to frog it, see how that goes. So it's not catching on itself, but just the way it felt working up, it kind of feels the same frogging. No problem with it, so don't get me wrong. It's just a tighter type of feel. It's a stiffer type of feel. I did a review on the Bliss, and it was blissful. I would say this is less heaven than the Bliss yarn was blissful. But look how it's frogging really nicely. So that's not a problem. And I would say that it is fine to use. I wouldn't say it's my absolute favorite, but certainly something that I would consider making something with. So I'm going to wind this up, this bunch of yarn here, and I'm going to do a fancy stitch and get back to you with it so we can see what it looks like. Okay, so I worked up this Feels Like Heaven in 3 different patterns. One is the shell stitch, and then I did the spider stitch, which was in this book here, Crochet Stitch Dictionary by Sarah Hazel. And then I did this perforated pattern, which I found in this book, Melissa Leitman's Indispensable Stitch Collection for Crocheters. So I recommend both of these books to try new stitch patterns. I'll link you to them in the description box below if you'd like to take a look at them. But let's talk about this yarn and how I found working up with it. Okay, so I'm not going to make any bones about it. This is a splitty yarn, and I knew that by looking at it. And so I did notice it when working it up. Some stitch patterns were more obvious with the splittiness, like the spider stitch. It was a little more annoying, but you know, that being said, it wasn't too bad. you can see that the stitch definition is quite nice. Okay, so let's talk about the feel of this yarn, the texture. And it definitely feels like a man-made fiber to me. Actually, I went and I looked at comparisons, and I brought out this Red Heart Amore yarn right here. And this is a 100% polyester yarn. If you look at the fibers, to me, they look similar, but the polyester is quite a bit softer than the Feels Like Heaven. I find the Amore feels a little bit more heavenly, to be honest. And then I take a look at more of a natural fiber like Kobu. And the Kobu yarn, 51% cotton, 49% rayon from bamboo. The Kobu has 232 yards and it is considered a light 3-weight yarn, while the Feels Like Heaven, also considered a light 3-weight, has 246 yards. It's not a lot more for the price, and I'm not sure what the Kobu is going for now, but I don't think it's more than $9.99. The Kobu is also an 8-ply, or it looks like an 8-ply here. So very similar in the way it's twisted. And this one, the Kobu, feels much softer as well. So that would also be more preferable. And is it washable? It is machine washable and dryable. Whereas the Feels Like Heaven is machine wash but lay flat to dry. So the Kobu wins on that level as well. It's washable even though it's a natural fiber. That being said, it's not terrible, and it provides nice stitch definition. It provides a nice thick feel to it. So that's nice. It's also very stretchy. In that regard, it wouldn't really be suitable for things like tote bags, market bags, because of the stretch, so it wouldn't really support anything that's in it. Now, I'm not really sure if nylon is something that would be good for a baby's garment, because I sort of felt this and I thought, okay, I can see it being good for a little baby cardigan. Whether or not nylon is the best material for a baby, I'm not sure. I can't even find any information on it. If you have any opinions, I would really like to hear about it. I wouldn't do a blanket with it. I don't think it's soft enough to be a blanket. But as a sweater, I think it has a nice substance to it, a nice feel to it. I think that the plus is that it is a strong material, but I've only read about nylon adding strength to other materials, like to natural fibers. And again, I wouldn't say that I would never use Feels Like Heaven. It just wouldn't be my first choice. And this being a natural fiber, I would say this would be the preferable choice, especially since it's machine washable and dryable. So I guess the Feels Like Heaven wouldn't be as heavenly as its name would suggest. So sorry, Feels Like Heaven. I guess you're being pushed aside by some other yarns that I think are more preferable, whether they be the synthetic ones or more natural. But as you can see, the stitch definition is nice. It's strong. It's got some nice stretch to it both ways, so it's pretty good that way. It would be comfortable. And would I buy it again? I think because of the price, I wouldn't really be all that excited, because I figure for a yarn that's splitty, which might be a little difficult and frustrating to work with, I would probably go with Trubu because it is more natural, it feels nicer, and it's no more expensive. So that's what I would go with. But if this were on a great sale and I had something to make with it, I wouldn't be opposed to it. It just right now, it wouldn't be my first choice, and that's my honest opinion. I would love to hear your experience with this yarn. So if you've tried it, or if you're thinking of trying it, tell me in the comments below. Talk to me about this yarn. What are your thoughts on it? In the meantime, happy crocheting, whether you use Feels Like Heaven or any other type of yarn, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.